This is the story of Japan's rise back from the devastation of World War II, the engineering miracle that became the pride of a nation, and the one man who stopped it all from falling apart. This is the story of the Shinkansen, or as most of us know it, the bullet train. After World War II, Japan was in ruins. People came back to the cities to rebuild, survive, and find work. But Japan, being a small island nation with a dense population, had a big problem. Progress was moving very fast. More and more people were trying to get in and out of the cities every day, and in the 1950s, there weren't many ways to do that. Trains were the backbone of the country, but they were slow. With a top speed of only 120 kilometers an hour, a trip from Osaka to Tokyo would take 7 hours. Bad for passengers, but worse for the train operators. Slow trains, packed stations, and a rapidly growing economy was about to send Japan back into chaos, until a miracle showed up, one that would change everything. By the end of 1964, Japan had done the unthinkable, a nationwide upgrade of its railway system, new tracks, new tunnels, for the launch of something truly iconic, the Shinkansen Zero Series. This thing wasn't just a train, it was a statement, a beast of a machine with room for 1,300 passengers and a top speed of 210 kilometers an hour. That trip from Osaka to Tokyo has been cut down from 7 hours to just 4. It was the first of its kind anywhere in the world. The Shinkansen became a symbol of rebirth, not just technologically, but economically and spiritually. It was sleek, futuristic and powerful, and it told the world that Japan was back. And for the next 20 years, the bullet train just kept getting faster. But that's when the problems started. Once they passed the 270 kilometer an hour mark, strange things started to happen. Letters started pouring into the rail companies. People living near the tracks were hearing explosions, booms, every day. Residents were filing complaints and lawsuits were being issued. But the operators were baffled. They knew something was wrong, but no one knew what the problem was. Japan is a mountainous nation. To cut travel time, engineers blasted massive tunnels straight through hills and mountains. But at high speeds of over 250 kilometers an hour, when a train entered a tunnel, it compressed the air in front of it like a piston. And that pressure would build up until it had nowhere else to go, apart from straight out of the exit. And what did this cause? A boom every single time. The blast could be heard from 1.5 kilometers away and up to 100 decibels. It was like standing next to a helicopter taking off. There were protests, news reports, and government crackdowns on noise pollution. Japan couldn't afford to slow the trains down, but they also couldn't afford to ignore it. But nothing was working. The booms just wouldn't stop. They needed a new miracle, and fast. Enter Dr. Eiji Nakatsu, a senior engineer at JR West. A quiet guy, soft-spoken, and weirdly enough, an avid birdwatcher. Nakatsu reviewed everything, and he came up with one conclusion. It wasn't just the speed causing the problem, it was the shape of the train. And more specifically, how the shape interacted with the air. He told his team something wild. I've seen birds dive into the water at high speeds without making a sound. There has to be a way to do the same thing with trains. And after a series of tests, one design stood out. The one he predicted from the very beginning. It came from a bird nature had perfected for this kind of movement. The Kingfisher. See, unlike traditional aerodynamic thinking, which focused on reducing drag, the Kingfisher's beak did something different. It minimized the air disturbance. Nakatsu realized something critical. Air at those speeds behaves just like water. So what worked for the Kingfisher could work for the bullet train. And the final design? A massive 15-meter long tapered nose at the front of the train, giving the air time to move, shift, and get out the way before the full body of the train entered the tunnel. And the results were astonishing. The booms disappeared. The power consumption also got lower, and the speed got higher. Not only did the Kingfisher nose fix the noise problem, but it made the train better in almost every way. Once again, Japan stunned the world. A train that was faster, quieter, and more efficient than ever before. And it wasn't just a technological breakthrough, it was a spark for a whole new design movement, biomimicry, where engineers looked to nature for answers. One of the most complex transportation problems of the modern world was solved, not by brute force, or faster engineers or louder machines. It came from the curiosity of one engineer, who took the time to watch a bird dive into the river. And in that quiet moment, he saw what no one else could see, that nature had already written the blueprint. The Shinkansen didn't change how Japan moved, it changed how the world thought about movement. The Kingfisher-inspired nose went on to influence high-speed rail across the globe. And more than that, it sparked a movement in design and engineering, where nature isn't something to be dominated, but to be learned from. So the next time you see a bullet train silently slicing across the landscape, know this: behind that speed, that silence, that marvel of technology, is a bird and a man and a question no one else thought to ask. We were trying to conquer nature, but nature had already solved the problem. A direct quote from Dr. Eiji Nakatsu.